Well, we're back in the basement for another episode of Belinda Sewing Things in the Basement. Today, I have to make a new heat pack or heating pad for one of my kids. My kids are kind of obsessed with these. Most of them have to have them at bedtime or insist on having them at bedtime. Some of them use them a little more than others. And Alisa, my oldest, she insists on having hers really, really hot. And I've been making them just out of kind of regular quilting fabric, and she goes through them really quickly. So today I am going to use an old pair of pants, corduroy pants, to make one because they're a little thicker material, and I'm hoping it's going to hold up a little better than the last ones. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut the pants. I'm going to cut the hem off. Use the side that doesn't have the stitching on it for now because I don't think she cares particularly if it has pretty flowers or not. I'm going to cut the hem so that I can sew that a little more easily. And then I just have to pick the length. I'm just going to cut it right up to here for now. But I am going to leave the rest of the stitching in this pre-existing pant leg because one of the convenient things about using it is it's already got two sides sewn. So what I have to do now is turn this inside out, and then I am going to sew along one edge so that it closes one edge here. Then we're going to put the rice in the other end after it's turned back the right way in, fill it up, and then we'll sew that seam shut. So you can pin this if you want to, but I'm just going to eyeball it now. Going to sew a 5/8 seam just so it's nice and thick and sturdy. Hopefully it won't come undone too easily. Okay, get the back stitching there to seal it shut. I think I went far enough over on this end, but I'm gonna actually just sew over it a little bit more to make sure. Alright, so now you can just turn it back the right way, the right side out, and push out those corners with my fingers a little. And now I'm going to put the rice in the top piece. Now I could have sewn this partially shut, only left a little bit out. That's how I used to do them, but it's actually kind of a pain, and if you're not really concerned about how clean the seam looks on the other end, like having it look like this, I just sew them flat, like this edge here, if you can see that. So just find it a little easier. So I am, though, going to use the old rice. And once it's been heated up over and over and over again, it starts to be pretty grainy, like small pieces, but it still works. So just put that inside there. Alright, now when you have the rice in there, just kind of lay it out flat, shake around holding the end. That looks like it's a good amount of rice, so I don't think I actually need to add any more, so that's good. Now for this next seam, I am going to pin it shut, but just fold in, about the 5/8 again. And so it's even all along that edge, and then pin it. Just in a couple of places to keep that seam folded over, and then sew it shut. So I'm going to sew right along the top, and also do a second row of stitching about 1/2 inch down. And just trying to make sure that it's all the same length. So we'll start with the 1/2 inch. And it should catch that's all the folded under fabric. So if you're going to fold it under a smaller amount, just take that into consideration when you're putting in your stitching. So you want to catch it all in there so it doesn't come undone. That's one row. You can take the pins out now because that's all being held in there by the stitching. And we'll sew one right along the top. And there you go. So there you have it. There is my do-it-yourself heat pack. It is now ready to go in the microwave for a couple minutes and keep somebody's toes nice and warm. If you don't want to use a pant leg because you don't have them laying around, you can just use a rectangle of fabric, fold it in half, and then you would sew along this short edge and then along the long edge. Turn it inside out, put the rice in, and follow those final steps for folding in the end and sewing it shut. Thanks for watching.